Hi guys, my name's Tom. I'm a Google lead trainer and I've got the amazing job today of telling you guys all about the Google Home Hub. Now this is a great new addition to the Google Home family. We've also got a smart display, so we've got this screen here. I want to make sure you guys have all the tools you need to speak to customers. I'm going to do that by going through each of the key selling points. And I want to do that within a presentation, but I also want to jump out the presentation and show you guys a live demo of each of those working. So before I start, what I should do is share my screen, and I'll also tell you guys a couple of things. First off, the office I'm in today is in a train station. So I'm really sorry, but there might be some train noise at some stage. If there is, apologies from me. If there isn't any train noise, that'll be fantastic. But also, this is quite an early device. So it's going to be on sale from the 22nd of October, and I'm recording this way before that. So if, when we're doing the live demos, there are any strange quirks or anything happens which we don't expect, don't worry, the go-to-market software will be smooth and perfect and ready to go. So hopefully, you guys should be able to see my slides now. Now, obviously, this is a YouTube video, so you guys can see this, and you can fast forward and rewind and re-listen to pieces. I may go too quick. I may go through those KSPs, key selling points, too fast for you. If so, just pause, rewind. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to get in touch with your managers, with your team leaders within Gecko. Ask them the questions and we'll make sure we get you those answers, whatever you need. Great. So here is the Google Home Hub. And really, I'll position this. Why have we made a smart display when we already have a really, great Google Home family? And the reason is because this is a glance and go display. So when you ask a question, you get that verbal answer, just like you do with any Google Home product and with the Google Assistant, but also with the addition of glanceability. So if you're seeing the screen there, that's one of the home screens, you can instantly see the weather and see, in this case, Kate's commute to work and see exactly where that traffic would be. Listen, I'm going to dive in, and what we've got first is a video for you guys. And this should give you an idea of exactly how people might use Google Home Hub.
Don't stop when I wake up commentary about I can see things like that might go. Hey go go, hey go go. Don't stop when my heart spins like a cartwheel. The electric sparks that I feel. Hey go go, hey go go. Bim bam, ba da ba ba da bim bam, ba da ba ba. Hey go go, ba da ba ba da bim bam. All the people of France say go go, I feel it. Go go, I feel it. Hey go go. Hey go go. Hey go go. Hey go go.
So there you have it, guys. A really quick video just to show you some of the benefits that customers are going to get from using the Google Home Hub. Now, I particularly love this picture because the Google Home Hub has been designed to blend into the background. It's been designed just like all of the Google Home products so that when you're not using it, you shouldn't notice it. It shouldn't be at the forefront. It shouldn't look like a piece of technology, like an 80s stereo system. And don't get me wrong, I love an 80s stereo system, but these products are designed to be a little bit softer, blend into the background. And Google Home Hub definitely will be in my kitchen when I can buy one on the 22nd. So I love this picture of it blending into the background of a possibly nicer than my kitchen. Now guys, we have a thing called the elevator pitch. And what this means is if you were stuck in a lift with somebody for 20 seconds and you could explain this product, this would be a really good way of explaining it quickly. So let me read it out to you. It's get help at a glance and get things done hands-free. Google Home Hub helps you make the most of moments at home. So that's what it's all about. It's all about giving us back that time and helping us out, be more efficient, letting us get on with our busy, busy daily lives. And here are some basics for you. So if I go through, a little tour of the device, we have an EQ ambient light sensor. Now, what does that mean? What it means is, I just said, Google Home Hub is designed to blend into the background. And that's not only the materials it's made of and how it looks, but actually the screen itself will register the color, the time of day, the surroundings that it's got, and it will blend into the background when you're not using it. Obviously, you can set the brightness to full, but if you set it to that ambient mode, it'll just chill out into the background, no matter what the time of day or night. We've also got 2 far-field microphones. Now, these are the same microphones that you get on other Google Home devices, and they're really designed to be listening out to those tones of the human voice, even if they're a long way away. So if you're a couple of rooms away and you need to shout out a question, Google can still help. The Google Home Hub can still do that. We have a relatively small 7-inch LCD touchscreen, and that's designed for giving us answers. It's definitely not designed to give us binge watching of Netflix or our next movie marathon. It's not designed in that way. This is just giving us that little hand. It's not going to take over from your TV, I'm afraid, guys. It's going to give us a hand and show us exactly, how the weather is in this case, or the traffic, or whatever we've asked for. And we call it a floating display because we think it just looks quite nice and it should blend into the background. But underneath and around the back, we always have a speaker. First and foremost, all of the Google Home devices are a smart speaker, and they can obviously play music from your preferred streaming site. So if I dive in, guys, I'm going to take you through each of the KSPs, or the key selling points, top features, the things customers might use them for, should really resonate when you're speaking to customers, that you can make their lives easier in these ways. And the first one is Command Your Day. So this is all about asking for calendar, asking for the news, asking for the weather, asking for your commute, and really getting that visual, glanceable display, as well as an audible answer to your question. Number 2 here, we have Simplify Your Smart Home. This is one of my favorites. I'm a little bit of a geek, as you may have guessed, and so I'm getting more and more smart home tech in my house, and it's becoming more automated. And I've got a mix of shouting out, turn on the lights, and then also asking, where's my mobile phone? I really want to turn it down, dim the lights with my mobile phone because it's 12 o'clock at night. Google Home Hub can help with that. We have answers for any moment. This is something we think, I guess, we're quite good at Google, is answering people's questions, but we can give them, as well as that audible answer they would get from a Google Home. Now with Google Home Hub, they can get a visual representation of that as well. And this was one of my favorite little factoids. Obviously, the biggest search engine in the world is Google. I hope all of you guys should know that. But the second biggest or most used search engine in the world is in fact YouTube. And we have YouTube built in. So all those little how-to videos, how to bake bread, how to change the lights, light bulb in strange light fitting, how to cut a pineapple, all of those kind of things you can get on Google Home Hub and you can have access to with your voice. And then I said earlier, it's a smart speaker as well as a smart display. You've got a great all-round speaker in there so you can play any of the music that you want. And then when you're not using it, it can be a photo frame. And we obviously pair up with Google Photos. You can select exactly which albums or shared albums you would like displayed on there. No fumbling with memory cards or having to update things. If you add photos to those galleries, to your favorites list or whatever photo album in Google Photos you've shared them with, these will just start to rotate around on your smart display. Obviously, you don't have to have that, but I think it's a great way of freeing up those memories and really sharing them and reminding myself. So guys, I'm going to dive into these in a little bit more detail. So the first one we have here is Command Your Day. And there's 2 sides to this, really. You can ask for specifics, and you can see in the graphic here that there's a yoga class with Estelle and Kim coming up in the graphic. So we can ask for calendar and reminders and things like that. Bear in mind, at this stage, Google Home devices and the Google Assistant can recognize up to 6 different voices. So if I ask what's in my calendar and my wife asks what's in hers, we'll get different answers. We'll get personalized answers because it's recognizing our voices. And bear in mind, if you guys were around at my house and you aren't one of those 6 recognized voices, you ask what's in my calendar and you won't be able to find out. That information is private to me. So we could ask those specific questions. We could ask about our commutes. We could get personal information like that. But we can also set a thing called routines. Routines are great. They mean that Google Home and the Google Assistant can do several different things at whatever you've decided the command should be. So you could say disco time, and you could have set the music to play a certain song and the lights to change to bright colors and whatever you'd like. I really like, and I'll show you in a little bit, my morning routine. So I just ask about my day and I can get loads of information like the news headlines, like what's in my calendar, what reminders I've got, how my commute's looking. I could get anything like that. You can just set those routines to do a few different jobs all at once, and you can call it anything you like. Obviously, another routine I have is when I go to sleep, I just have good night and it will turn off all of my smart devices. That's including my TV and my smart lights and things. Perfect. So I'll go into this in a little bit more detail a bit later, or I'll show you some of those demos. But I'll move on to the next one, which is simplify your smart home. And this is great. We are compatible with 200 plus devices, loads and loads of manufacturers. Obviously, an advantage of Google Home is that if there's any updates, they come over the air. When you're not using the internet anyway, you'll just get small updates. But most of the things are done in the cloud. They're done in our computers. So any updates, so if we add a new company's smart home tech, for instance, everyone will be able to control that with their voice instantly. We don't necessarily need people to go in and add applications or anything like that. So as I said, I've got smart lights and I've got smart plugs and things like that. And rather than controlling them with my voice or having to find my mobile phone, if I happen to be walking past my new Google Home Hub, I can just swipe down from the top and control those things with nice touch-sensitive controls. And you can sort of see from the graphic there, you can, select different rooms and different things within those rooms. Obviously, one of the best set of products that we work with, or the most amazing products we work with, are Nest. Because Nest and Google are very much the same company. We're sister, companies, and so we work really incredibly well with some of those Nest products. And I've got some of those, so I'll be able to show you a bit later. Unfortunately, I don't yet have the Nest Hello doorbell. That I will definitely as my next addition. Guys, if I was going to be a little bit confident about anything to do with Google, it would be that we are great at answering questions. Answering people's questions is what we've been doing for 20 years now. And we've been working on voice synthesis and understanding different accents, different tones, and how people ask things for years and years and years and years. And something where I think the Google Assistant and Google Home devices do brilliantly well. So Google Home Hub can do that. It can answer your questions. It can give you visual representations of things. So you ask it a maths equation, it can give you a visual representation of that as well as just that audible answer. But we've also got YouTube. And I think YouTube is in everyone's psyche. It's just a staple of our life these days. My parents are retired. They are definitely not the target market for this product. And yet they love YouTube. Because they're retired, they love learning new skills. And YouTube has really enabled them and helped them do that. And I can't help looking at this device and thinking that they'll be great in my parents' kitchen. My dad's learning to cook. He's a pretty good chef these days. But actually, he recently, when he retired, he learned to cook bread. And baking bread, I think, is a bit of a specific skill, and he's now really good at it. But I do know that to get good at it, he watched a lot of YouTube videos. He's never been trained, self-trained with YouTube, which is great. I also know that I think he had mucky hands, and I think he got my mum's PC, covered in the stuff it takes to make bread. And I think it was an issue. If Google Home Hub had existed at that time, could have just controlled YouTube and those how-to videos with his voice, and it wouldn't have caused an issue. And it'd have probably played some pretty cool music in the background as well. Listen, that's getting answers for any moment. But I've just talked about music. And music is a fundamental thing that we want to do when we're kicking around at home. Loads of people want to listen to their specific playlists. Google Home Hub won't let them down. It's a full range speaker, so they can play whatever they like and they should be happy. There is an EQ setting. People want to tweak the treble and the bass of any of the Google Home devices. They do that in the Google Home app. But it should be that great speaker. And we pair with things like YouTube Music, Google Play Music. We should do, right? They are our things. But we also pair with Spotify, which I know is really, really popular. And it's not just Spotify Premium. It's actually Spotify, the free version as well. And you'll just be limited by the Spotify rules if you do that. So you won't be able to ask for a specific song, and you might get adverts sometimes as well. The other thing we have in there, guys, is TuneIn Radio. So we've got TuneIn Radio built in. What that means is you can ask for any radio station that's published on the internet, pretty much. So yeah, test it out, ask for Radio 1, or if you've got something a little bit more obscure, go for it, and you should be able to get to that internet radio, and again, control it with your voice. And then this is probably one of my favorites. It's just one of those things that we now take millions and millions of photographs. The numbers are crazy. You know, Google it, how many photographs we're taking and saving at the moment. But what do we do with those photos? We're not really using them in the same way that we used to when we only had, you know, a film's worth of pictures and printing them out and looking back. I certainly love it when Google Photos or Facebook say, oh, remember this day 2 years ago or 5 years ago? Well, Google Home Hub has the power to do that all the time. What it can do is literally just, when you're not using it, if you've turned this setting on, and if you've chosen some photo albums for it to look at, you can go in there, check out your photo albums, it'll just have them in the background. So blending into the background, but with your memories, with your favorite pictures just going around. Guys, these are the 5 principles. So, or rather than 5 principles, the 5 key selling points. Help customers take control of their day and command their day. Simplifying your smart home now that we're getting so many different smart products out there and different, you know, sets and rather than going to 5 different apps, we can, you know, summarize it all into one lovely home screen. Answers for any moment, something Google are really good at with the addition of those YouTube how-to videos and all of that. And then we've got music. Fundamental to all of these products is being able to listen to things whenever you want, wherever you want, and control them with your voice. And then also freeing up those memories, getting you guys so that you could, you know, your customers can just enjoy those memories, see them, be reminded of those happy times they had. Guys, I might stop presenting for a little while. I'll come back to the presentation, but I'm conscious that I want to show you some of these things. So, hi again. Here we have the Google Home Hub. And actually, you can see on here, these are some of the photos that I've taken. And if I show you around the device, I can just flick through. So these are photos that I've taken. The Pixel takes some great photographs, although this wouldn't be on Pixel 3, most of these, because it's beforehand, but you know, before I had one. But you can see we've got some great photographs in there, even if I say so myself. But if I just tap on the display, we go onto our home screen. I can also get back by swiping this way. I can get back to things I have been doing if I swipe from the screen that way. I can actually change the settings in here just for things like brightness on here if I haven't got it set to ambient EQ mode, and volume just by swiping from the bottom there. And I can swipe from the top for my home control, but I'll come back to that in a second. Let me tackle each one of these key selling points. So command your day. I could say something like, hey Google, what's in my calendar today?
Today, there's only one thing on your calendar. It's at 3 p.m. and its title is Say Hi to All the Lovely Promoters.
Hi, lovely promoters. And obviously we could run down those things. I could say, hey Google, how's my commute looking?
On your way home, there's the usual traffic. The route via M4 is still the fastest. It is 54 minutes by car. You can see the full directions on your phone.
So Google Home Hub has automatically, it knows it's my voice, obviously recognized that I'm Tom. It knows my mobile phone, so it's sent the directions to my mobile phone because I might want to use Google Maps when I get in the car. But actually, it's also giving me that visual representation on there, so it can show me exactly where the traffic is. So I'm aware of that. Hey Google, will I need an umbrella tomorrow?
No, it won't rain tomorrow in London. It'll be partly cloudy, with a high of 17 and a low of 11.
Now this is great. I love that audible, you know, weather. It's something I use every day when I'm running around getting ready in the morning. But you can see this is taking it to the next level. So if I hadn't managed to catch, if I hadn't listened quite well enough, I'd be able to see that glanceable display to see exactly what's going to go on with the weather. Now I told you earlier about a thing called routines. And that means you can set multiple things to happen just by asking one command. So I could say, hey Google, tell me about my day.
Good afternoon, Tom. It is 1:11 p.m. On your way home, there's the usual traffic. The route via M4 is still the fastest. It is 54 minutes by car. Today at 3 p.m., you have Say Hi to All the Lovely Promoters. By the way, don't forget to tell everyone about the amazing Google Home Hub. Have a wonderful day.
Hey Google, stop. And I'll say stop because the next thing it would have done is gone into my playlists, and you guys don't want to hear my music. So that's great. We can command our day. We can get those visual cues. But we also, this is the home hub. So we can also simplify our smart home. And I do that just by swiping down from the top. And you can see instantly it's giving me a range of different options in here. So I've got options for lights, for media, to broadcast, because you can broadcast to all of your Google Home devices. Or I've got smart thermostats and a camera. And I can see a little overview at the top here, which is that 4 lights are off. So I've got my lights off. So if I start with lights, swipe down from the top, click onto lights, you can see I've got all lights, entrance, that's just by my front door, living room 2 lights, and office 1. So if I was to go into the living room, for instance, I can see that my lights are off, but I also have this dimmer switch. So if I turn the lights on, I'll be able to use the dimmer to set them exactly how I want. You can also change, I could go into the specific lights because I've got a couple in there, or I could change the color and the tone of those lights. So lights are a great one, and I could change those. I could also view any of my different products. I could view things like my thermostats. So I go in here, I don't have 2 homes, and I certainly don't have 2 thermostats, but I have a demo one and I have a real one. So I could go into my kitchen, for instance, and I'd be able, that's my demo one. I could go into my downstairs, the real one, and I could see that it's set to eco mode. That's because both me and my wife are out, and it's a Nest thermostat, so it knows that we're out and it's automatically in eco mode. But I could also change the mode, and I could change the temperature in here. One of my other favorite Nest products is I have a camera, and I can actually, it's obviously a security camera, but I can check if my cat's on the sofa. So if we go in here, it'll take a second to load up, and I'll be able to see my security camera. And obviously I wouldn't necessarily want to do this while I'm in my living room. No, my cat is not on the sofa. But if I had any outdoor cameras, I'll be able to check those just from sitting on the sofa or shouting out a command and seeing those on here as well. That's why I want the Nest Hello doorbell, because that has a camera in. You can talk 2-way to people at the door, and it would just pop up straight away on there. Now, another view is you can go into each room. So I could scroll down here and I could scroll into my living room, and you can see the different devices that I have in my living room. So I could control my lights straight from here. I've got that living room camera, and I could control my other devices. I obviously have things like a Google Home in there. So that's simplifying your smart home. Another thing we can do is get answers from Google, and it's something we're really good at. So I could say, hey Google, what is 36 times 12?
36 times 12 is 432.
So you can see I get that visual cue, and I'm also getting some other options down at the bottom there, because I might want to make some different calculations straight away from there, depending on what I'm doing. You can obviously ask Google almost anything. Hey Google, tell me a joke.
Here we go. Some people wouldn't recommend marrying the gardener. Too rough around the hedges.
So you can get that kind of thing, but I could also ask for YouTube how-tos. And I gave you the example earlier of my dad who learned to bake bread on YouTube. I could say, hey Google, show me videos of how to make bread.
All right, showing how to make bread videos.
Hey Google, play the first one.
Okay.
And here we go. You can see a quick how-to on how to make bread from Jamie Oliver. And obviously, I can control it with my voice, but as you can see, I could also jump around. We have that touch screen on there, so I could do the same thing. Great. Thanks, Jamie. And at any point, I can swipe these things away. So I could swipe those away and go back to my home screen. You can see I can easily get back to exactly what I was doing. Now, we can also play music. So I could say, hey Google, play Capital Radio.
All right, here's Capital UK on TuneIn.
Hey Google, stop. So we can get to any radio station that's on TuneIn Radio, but I could also be a bit more specific. So I could say, hey Google, play Hurt by Johnny Cash.
I don't understand.
Oh, the curse of the live demo.
In London on Thursday.
Hey Google, play the Beatles.
All right, playing the Beatles on Google Play Music.
Great song. So here we go. So we've got that speaker, but we've also just got a glanceable display so that we can see exactly what we're playing. And again, I could zoom around and do whatever I like, or pause that display. Then actually, if I'm not doing anything for a little while, I can also get to my photos. And all it'll do, I've got this set to full brightness. Bear in mind that ambient EQ light sensor here will just blend it into the background. But I've also got it set to one of my favorite photo albums. So these are just some holiday snaps that I've taken and pictures of the cat. You know, they're things that I love, and there's some great pictures taken on the Pixel devices. I can flick through these different ones, so I can flick through and show off my photos. So if you know, it flicks round, goes onto one I loved, I can just go back onto it and check it out, and hopefully show them off to my friends. Hopefully they're good enough photos. Guys, I hope that gives you a really good understanding of the kind of things people can do. Obviously, bear in mind, they can do an awful lot more than that. But I hope that gives you guys a little understanding of what they can use and how customers will benefit from having a Google Home Hub in their house. But I do want to take a second to talk about those customers. So I'm going to dive back onto the presentation for a second. So once we're back into this presentation, obviously I've given the example there of my parents. They are not our target market, retired people, but they love their Google Homes, and I think they'll love a Google Home Hub as and when I get them one. But realistically, anyone can enjoy this. People who are going to make the most of it, and people, when you see them in store, you'll just know they're going to love this product. It's probably young tech families. Because young tech families, and I know quite a few of these, they're just really busy, on the go. They want the newest things. Probably, not overwhelmed, but, getting there with, lots of after-school clubs and busy lives themselves. And they're searching for technology that really simplifies their life. And Google Home Hub can do that and give them back time, take time away from boring menial tasks, give them back time at home where it's the most important. And they probably expect devices to just work and just help them out and just work together. And obviously Google products work together really well. So if they're already using Google and Gmail and those kind of things and Google Maps, this product is really going to help them out. And hopefully it's a cool design that you guys like and sits subtly in the background. And also, these guys are going to really like things that save them hassle, save them time, but, hopefully blend into the background. Google Home Hub is not designed to stick out and be something, ostentatious on the shelf. Blend into the background and really help them out just when they need it, but not be there when they don't. Guys, that's it from me. Hopefully that's given you the tools you need to go and speak to customers. As I said earlier, fast forward and rewind through this video as much as you like. If you have any additional questions at all, shout to the guys at Gecko, shout to your managers and your teammates, and try and share experience and help each other out. Thank you ever so much, and have a great day.